yes, on the one hand, there is an effort to indoctrinate, but on the other hand, it's coming from a place of darkness. It's coming from an utter place of utter darkness. And I was even guilty of that.
Do you think that there is a specific agenda directly attached to kids? Like, yes, this is very intentional. Do you lean more in the idea of, well, it just kind of is happening that way?
Well, there's a couple things. What's funny about the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir is they came out later after all the backlash they got. They said it was like, oh, this was ironic. And it's like, but how is that ironic? Because it's actually real. It's true. Like, it's happening in real time. There's Drag Queen Story Hour. Like, how is that? And which, by the way, before I get to your answer, when I mentioned that I saw my first drag show when I was 14 or 15 at a gay bar, I was, even that age was too young to see that, because I remember that experience being so powerful and scary and like titillating. And it really did something to me, like seeing that. It was really like it was kind of a paradigm shift for me in terms of like like it just changed so much in me. And so those things are so dangerous, especially for, kindergartners or first graders. I can't even imagine being that young and being exposed to that, because it's like this, it's like a sexualized version. It's a hypersexualized version of, it's kind of all kinds of it's hypersexuality and eroticism being kind of performed through this visual kind of medium that's very shocking. And it's very, I think it's very, very dangerous and bad. But to get to your question, it's funny because in the 90s, my gay friends and I, we used to make fun of the term homosexual agenda. Because it was, I think in politics, there was a lot of talk about that. And we laughed. We thought it was such a like goofy thing, and we thought it was a joke. And we used to actually call each other, and instead of saying, "What are you doing today?" Like, "What are you doing today?" we would call each other and say, "What's on your homosexual agenda today?" And as a joke. And that's how we felt about it. But obviously, like looking back on it now as a believer, as a Christian, I see that there's two prongs to this. Number one, I see that, yes, there is an agenda. In fact, there was a book called After the Ball. It's no longer in print, praise God. But it was written by Marshall Kirk, two gay men, Marshall Kirk and Hunter Madsen. I think they both went to Harvard. And the subtitle of the book is How America Will Conquer Its Fear and Hatred of Gays in the 90s. It was written in 1989 or published in 89. And it literally, this book is insane. I just read it actually, because I'm working on another book. But the book kind of lays out how to convince America that homosexual behavior is good and righteous, and ways to normalize it. And so on the one hand, yes, there is a concerted effort to indoctrinate children, and to obviously, like, everything is LGBTQ, like and schools are embracing it. Public schools are embracing this ideology. On the other hand, you have to remember, because when I was in the dark, when I didn't know Christ, I tried to create a lot of content in terms of TV shows and movies. I wrote spec screenplays and TV spec shows. I sold 2 TV shows. But the content I was trying to create was very much gay themed. And almost all of it, not all of it, but almost all of it. And so from my perspective, being in the dark, I thought I was doing a good thing. I thought that I was helping people. I was helping to open people's minds and help them to understand. And so it's like a two-way, it's a weird tension, because yes, on the one hand, there is an effort to indoctrinate, but on the other hand, it's coming from a place of darkness. It's coming from an utter place of utter darkness. And I was even guilty of that, so I understand that. I understand wanting to push this narrative and push this agenda. I wanted to do a show. I talked about this in an episode on my show, but I wanted to do a show in like 2002, which almost got made, where my best friend and I would travel, a reality show. We would travel the country and explore gay culture in America and in small towns, big cities. And our goal was to show how normal and fun and great gay people were, like homosexual behavior was, basically. So I was very much on board to help people come to a better understanding of that and to come to celebrate homosexual behavior. I had no idea that I was doing anything, wrong. So yes, on the one hand, there is an agenda, but on the other hand, the agenda it's hard to say, because like a lot of people don't even realize that they're promoting it. Like I didn't realize I was promoting really an agenda. I just thought like I'm promoting reality and truth. Like this is, I want people to understand this issue better.